I never cease to be amazed at some of the English countryside, or British countryside, should I say, shown on Country File. It's a programme on the BBC every Sunday night that deals with issues concerning the countryside, and some of the photography in it is just staggering. It's unmissable really for artists, or for us landscape artists anyway. And I can't resist snapping off a few photos, not to copy really, but just to give me ideas. And a lot of the programme on Sunday was set in the New Forest, which is in southern England, in Hampshire. And it used to be, once upon a time it was a forest, but all the trees, or most of them, got hacked down for various reasons, and now it's mostly heathland, sheep grazing, and a lot of wild, or well, not so wild, ponies that just roam free. And we were camping in our trader tent years ago, and we had a lovely weekend with friends there, and I had two doors to my awning. And one of these big ponies came in one door, went out the other. I thought it was going to go off with a very expensive piece of equipment, but it didn't. But at the end of the camping season, the site just returns to what it was, just farmland or heath. Really lovely. So I'm going to try and paint a version of it. It's still early spring. So I'm using with 2-inch hake as usual. Light yellow, lemon yellow, raw sienna, alizarin crimson, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, Payne's grey, and burnt sienna. Fabriano 130 pound weight, 15 inches by 11, 38 centimetres by 28. Great paper for line for wetting wet. Also, I need to put a cloth over my computer. I am working from some sort of dodgy photograph. You won't be able to see it. I can't see much of it. There's some gorse in the foreground. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Other than mask out, but I don't really want to do that. I might use a bit of gouache, white gouache mixed with a bit of lemon yellow, just to dot around. If I do this dark enough for it to show. But basically, it's just heathland, and how to make it interesting. Well, photographs, you take them, you think, when you look at them, you know, why did I take that? But it's devoid of all the emotion that made you want to take it in the first place, days on or even weeks. But as artists, we tend to idealise, paint what we want to paint, rather than what is actually there. We just use the landscape and the photographs as not as a crutch, but as just an aid memoir, and we make a piece of art from it. And if we want to put some nice trees in, we can. But as long as we maintain some sort of integrity, there's more than I can say for my dirty board that is leaking grey. Well, I'm going to put in a nice, I'll invent some sort of sky. I quite like lemon yellow. Let's try lemon yellow, a bit of lemon yellow. And a bit of alizarin crimson, a bit of dirty alizarin crimson. I'll have to clean that off, I think, because it will just be grey, and we don't want grey yet. So I should have done this earlier. I've been busy. Right, lemon yellow and a bit of nice cleanish alizarin. So we'll put that in. Okay, stretch the paper as it grows. I've just ordered 150 sheets of this Fabriano, but I'm trying Curtis Ward, another setup. They're not that far from me, so. But it was free deliveries over £45, but my order was £44, 21p or something like that, 21 pence. So I've had to buy yet another rubber to take me into the free postage zone of 45 quid. There we are. Right, now I like my clouds with the ultramarine and light red. But we're all different. You can make them out of the alizarin and Payne's grey. I'll keep the weight of the sky on the right hand side. And just a bit of dark shadow. Okay, that'll make an interesting sky. The one that in the bit I'm working from, which I can hardly see. I'll show you to you just in case you're that curious. It's only I didn't do it from the still on the telly. Yeah, I just shot it as it was moving. So that's more than enough to work from. And with this blue and red, you get the separation. It would be better if it was flatter, but it is very, very attractive. Right, now I'm going to put. I want heather. Don't get me wrong there. So I'll put in a wash of burnt sienna, bit of burnt umber, a bit of sienna, and just and as that dries, I'll put a bit of green in there. We want some blue, some horizon, but trees. Very faint this. Just on the brow of that hill. Okay. Reclip the paper again. And we'll go in a bit of green. A bit of Payne's grey and a bit of lemon yellow. And a bit of lovely. Let's just get some light here. Right, okay. I'll give that a bit of a dry, so take your headphones off if you're listening on headphones. Right, that'll do. It's not bone dry. I don't want it bone dry. I want to put in some darks now, some clumpy stuff. So burnt umber, bit of burnt umber, bit of blue. Can even use a bit of grey. I need to drier than that. Siennas, a bit of red. I'm going to try and superimpose maybe some gorse over that. Just an impression. And a nice bit of grass. Nice bit of green in here. Okay, so that's a sort of foreground. And dry brush. Wet in wet takes a bit of getting used to, I must admit. And this paper is really good for this technique. It's very inexpensive as papers go. But when you get used to it, you know what you can do with it. You know how much water it will take before going cauliflowery. So there's a bit of blue on that down here. Okay, so that'll do. I've got a bit over. I'll put some heavier clumps of trees and scrubby foliage in there. Let's just dry it off now. Just a few bits. Oops. So I'll use a bit of heavy bluey green on that horizon. But on the blue side. Right, so let's just put in some of this here. Of course I'll muck that up there, so we'll. Yeah, just using blue, so we've got another plane now, we didn't anticipate this one, but just... So that'll do for there. Now we can warm that up a bit, we can put some bits of stiffer clumpy bushes. Don't forget the colour recession, aerial perspective, which says that blues recede, although I'll put that in green there. Create the illusion of great depth by the use of colour rather than making everything small as it goes off into the distance. Just creating a bit of countryside here. Nice bit of dark in here. Bit of some nice darks in there, because that's what I'm going to try to get some nice bits of yellow. You can use some masking fluid. It's all fair, you know. In Love and War, whatever gives you the effects. You know, this is where we want some bit of detail, bit of rough with heather. No letters, please. Right, so far so good. Now I want to put in some distant, or some trees, in some wintry sort of trees. So burnt umber, bit of grey, and just low down here. Just using the edge of the brush. Preserve as much of that blue as I can. Okay, well that's not too bad. Just block it in over here, a bit warmer. Right, that's that. Now we've got to put in some branches and things, trunks, trying a brush. So what we've got is a very simple landscape showing the shape of the ground, like a down, going off into the distance, and we've got this pile of gorse here now. I'm still so mean that I haven't bought myself a new gouache, and this one is so hard in this tube, which is about 30 years old now. So I'm going to mix that with a bit of lemon yellow. And just dab in some, find the dabbing in brush. That'll do. A bit of water, let's just get some lemon yellow knocks up here. Look, I've got a big, large butcher's tray that my guests were using on Monday. We were babysitting, Aaron and Holly. Right, let's just get a bit out of there. Look. Right, here we are. So this is going to be the gorse. So this should I hope make this opaque. Not yellow enough. Probably too much white. Right, some more in. So against the dark bits. It's the wrong yellow, we've only got one yellow. These are cadmium yellow rather than cadmium lemon yellow. So we don't want to do a portrait of all this, we just want to create an impression. And we can just do a bit of that. Don't use a lot, I don't use a lot of gouache, but you can, there's nothing to stop you. But don't mix the gouache with, if you want to keep your watercolours pure, don't get gouache anywhere near, otherwise it will make everything opaque rather than transparent, which is we're trying to preserve. So just a few flicks with white. Nothing wrong with it, but you can't call it pure watercolour because it's not. Okay, let's go back now. With some grey, palette grey. That's what I call palette grey. It's just a mixture of all the other stuff. But I want just coming out here, just a few bits of just a hint of stuff like that. I can't see if there's any darks on there, but we'll put some in. Right, I don't do any more than that really. Put a couple of smudges in there. Right, birds. Just to sign it, we'll put it in the mouth. Really, this is just an exercise in painting nothing really. I'm trying to make a painting out of a beautiful area, but with very few landmarks. no rocks, and just grassy slopes really, with gorse and stuff. Right, I'll put that in the mount. We'll have a look, see what we've done. So there we are. We've got. We can put some figures in that, I suppose. Now a reddish sort of coat would be appropriate, I think. Red against all that green, so we'll put some. Going up the hill. Another one, the blue one now. Okay, just a couple of figures, just to add a little bit of interest. Okay. Right, well that's it really. Let's come in and zoom around a bit. Okay, well there's my horizon, bit of blue behind. So that stretches the landscape back into infinity. I've got an interesting sky. And we've got this foreground, and there's my gorse. But it's not yellow enough, is it? It's too lemony because it's lemon yellow. But not much we can do about that. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let's zoom out and I'll just let you rest with that for a few seconds. Let me know what you think. Any questions? Just don't hesitate. Just get on the page and leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.